Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 722 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined today by Funky Ben Askren, James Dean Rader, and some of you. Every one of you that hears this is listening, and we thank you very much for tuning in to FRL on a Wednesday where we're going to start the show with a congratulations to our very own Ben Askren. Ben Askren, you made the list. Number 88, yes. Just ahead of a nemesis, Jake Herbert, and someone you aspired to beat in the pin stuff, Wade Chalice.
Did not.
Congrats, Ben.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. So it was, nice to be on the top 100 because there's a lot of good wrestlers who were left off of it. And obviously, I know that how hard it was because we've talked about it on the show, the different eras and different styles and this and that. And obviously, I know that I don't deserve to be any higher because I only wrestled internationally for 1 year. And had I done better, then I'd probably move higher.
Yes. You have articulated it correctly, Ben. So very cool. Thanks to all of you who have been watching it. Started a good conversation, we feel, which we'd hoped it would. And probably the anger will get ratcheted up the more we get closer to the number one spot. But yeah, that's like.
Let me ask you this: are you guys going to start going like smaller than 10s when you get towards the top? Like, will they be? Because obviously, you guys are doing like say a 15-ish minute show with 10 people. When you get more towards the top, is it going to be the same length, or are you going to shrink down to like 15 through 20 or whatever, and then?
So I don't. I think we're going to continue the 10 per episode structure. It's just I'm wondering if they're going to add a little more length into it the last couple of episodes, just because of there's it's obviously a little more prestigious as you get to the top 20 or so. So I could see it going like that. I don't know. That's a question I should ask. Interesting note is that someone that could be in the top 100, Pavel Delagnev, in the top one now, Olympic bronze.
He just got moved.
I thought that was official 2 years ago, but I guess just now the IOC is recognizing it.
Yeah, they move at an interesting pace. A pace all their own, the IOC.
But funny enough, Makov still does not get it because he is still serving a suspension for PED.
This is the most international wrestling thing ever. All right, listen to this. Okay, Ben, let me break it down for you. 2012 Olympic Games, all right?
Yeah.
The Olympic champion, Tamazov, it was Tamazov, he got stripped because he's a cheater.
He definitely wasn't using. He doesn't look like he's on steroids at all.
I'm gonna find that picture.
Clearly a tainted sample. Now, here's what happens. So the podium gets shifted and guys move up, and there are going to be two gold medalists at 2012. It'll be I think the Iranian.
But why would they do two gold medalists?
Because of the guys he beat. I don't know.
Weird, because there would have been a silver and then two bronzes.
Right, but if you I think the idea is if you lost to Tamazov in the semi, you would have
in the final.
Yes, exactly. So Gacemi beat Tervel for bronze. So they move him into the gold medal match against Makov, so now, just let me finish the story. Makov is currently serving a suspension for PED use. So he would be the Olympic champion, but he can't get his medal till he serves his suspension, and then he's an Olympic champion. What? So he's going to be the Olympic champion because of a guy that's stripped for cheating, but he is currently serving a suspension for cheating, but he will soon be the Olympic champion because of the timing in which he cheated.
So I can't actually find these brackets though. I want to see the act. Okay, hold on. Wait, I think I might have found them.
All right,
see who beat who.
This is Tamazov. I can't believe they caught this guy.
No.
Totally. This guy was doing. I would never have guessed. So if you don't remember, so Tervel lost to Tamazov at the Olympic Games, and then lost.
So I guess I still can't find the bracket, Christian. But there's actually been two athletes who've been disqualified: Tamazov and then a Georgian, which I don't know where he plays. Modzmanishvili.
Good enough.
Modzmanishvili. Yeah.
Close.
Yeah.
Yes, but I still can't find the brackets to see who beat who where They apparently don't exist. Old wrestling results are hard to find.
I think JD's
I bet
got
Jason
it.
Bryant knows where it is. You got it, JD?
Shout out techfall.com
Bring
and
that thing
John
up.
Sachs. He's got it. He's going to send it to him. But okay, so that's that. So congrats to Olympic champion Bilal Makov.
Listen, they might test his sample, and then Terrell might end up an Olympic champion here.
I think they stop after 10 years or something like
They
that.
do stop testing. So we got one more year.
One more year
Oh, here we go. JD just texted to me.
Terrell up there. So we'll see if he gets there. Now, Iowa Princeton probables came out.
This is much easier. The Wikipedia.
And some
Oh,
surprises
no, hold
in
on.
there.
You got
I
it
guess
totally
sort of
wrong,
surprises,
Christian.
Somewhat surprises.
No, Christian,
we're
not done.
We're not done.
You got it wrong, bro.
Got what wrong?
You got why there's 2 golds. You got it wrong.
Okay.
Both guys who made the finals are disqualified.
Oh my gosh.
The Georgian also, I said the Georgian was disqualified. He also made the finals.
Wow.
So he beat Makov in the one semi, and Taimazov beat Terrell in the other semi. Wait, so how does Iran get bumped up to gold? Because Iran lost to Terrell Iran lost
to
in the quarters.
Yes.
So Terrell should be the gold. This doesn't make any sense.
He beat Terrell for bronze, I believe.
Well, I understand that, but if we're going by the logic of look at the bracket, if in the semi Uzbekistan is disqualified, Terrell's not even wrestling in the bronze medal. What?
I don't understand.
I know what you're saying. It's probably more right. Well, what I'm saying is, if we disqualify Taimazov, then Terrell lost to Taimazov in the semi, whereas Gassemi lost to Taimazov in the quarters. Earlier in the tournament.
Right, but Terrell would then just be facing Gassemi in the semis.
Who made the finals, so he would get pulled back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
So I think they got it right. That's
Fair
crazy.
enough.
Both finalists. What an amazing. And that's just the ones they caught, you know?
And that's just the ones that caught. And they still got a year left to catch them.
They still, I guess you're clean. Your samples are passed through, so they can't get you down.
Well, they caught someone. I think it was 9 years after. I told you this, right? I mean, it was like 2017. They called me. And I got moved up like 2 places or whatever it was because some guys got caught.
Nice.
Yeah. Sorry. All right. I know. I cut you off on the Iowa Princeton starters.
Yes, Iowa Princeton starters. We talked yesterday at length about Glory's got to go because he's chirped about Spencer not wrestling him. Spencer's not going to be wrestling against Princeton. It'll be Jesse Ibarra. Other surprises.
Ooh.
Brett Lee Reyna or Cody Seabrick listed at 49. TBD at 174. So they don't. They
What do you think's going on there?
I think I don't know if Kimmerer was dealing with illness or something, but he's been dealing with something.
But it's interesting. So why not just put Kimmerer or Miles Wilson or Nelson Brands? Could we see Nelson at 74?
Well, Miles Wilson just got back from U23, so I don't know. Even though they do have Cassiope listed, Nelson. Who knows what his descent plan is if he can go. I'm sure he's going to be competing for 180.
I know, but you're going to put somebody out there, right?
By law.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have to.
You don't have to.
That is true, but I mean, you have to have like an idea of.
Maybe they literally have no idea
guys.
who's going to wrestle.
Maybe
They're like, I don't know. Maybe there's going to be wrestle offs or some sort of competition to determine it. But
I just don't think I've ever seen a TBD on a.
I think we have. I think we have.
Got to be that at some point.
I'm sure.
Patrick Kennedy's also listed on the roster at 174. I know we saw him compete at 165, and they want to use his red
not
shirt.
going to.
I wish we could do the football red shirt thing. Toss them out for a couple duel or two.
Isn't that you can do that now, right?
I don't think so.
No.
I feel like you should be able to do that.
It's really stupid. You should be able to, but you can't.
Yes.
So Ibarra, a couple notable things here. Ibarra's red shirt is pulled. He's attached. He wrestled attached, I believe, at Luther. So this year of eligibility for him is gone.
Wow.
But it makes sense. One, Tom basically alluded to the fact, hey, we're going to need 25s throughout the year, basically, when Spencer's not wrestling. He said Spencer's available when he's available, when he's on the mat. That's when he's available. And
I really did not like that answer.
yeah, well, I think, honestly, why not just say from the outset, everyone knows what's going on with Spencer. Everyone knows what he went through last year. And we're going to use him when we use him. And you all know why we're going to be selective here. And
Correct.
so you may not see him for some big matches, like, against number whatever, 2 or 3 Patrick Glory. You might not see him against these kind of guys because we're trying to get him to the finish line. But,
I feel like it's so easy to say, hey, you guys know he's dealing with injury issues and we're not going to see Spencer a lot this year. Or, hey, he's recovered really well. Maybe not 100%, but we're going to see him in quite a few matches. Like, it would be fairly easy to outline something relatively true of how much we're going to see him.
Yeah, I think that's fair, especially, given the big push. Listen, he's the greatest Hawkeye ever. He'll probably go down as such in a matter of months, right? He's the biggest draw ever in the history of the program, I would say.
Yeah.
They sold out their season tickets. That has never happened. That is the Spencer Lee, Iowa, and you can say it's the team. The team is really good, but it is Spencer. So with that, I think they could just do them. I just think it's all about just do yourself a favor. Just say, hey, I don't think this isn't some new thing that he's not wrestling. I think it's probably always been the plan. Yeah, we're not going to wrestle him in November against Patrick Glory, which makes sense. And his health, I'm sure Spencer's going to say he feels really healthy, whether he feels really healthy or not. He's never going to. Yeah. He's not going to be like, oh yeah, my knee's sore. Oh yeah, I feel limited. Like, he's not going to say that. So I think just do him a favor and yourself a favor, and just be like, yeah, we're not going to see him all that much, and we all know why. No one's going to be like surprised in that. I'm.
Yeah, I think it's really easy.
Hold on, I unplugged.
Yeah, I think it's really simple. I mean. No, I said I think it's really easy. I think you're right. It's simple to say. I'm still wondering. I mean, I guess he's just never going to get them fixed, and he's going to wrestle internationally like this because it seems as though if he didn't get them fixed last offseason, why would you get them fixed?
Because I would not say that's necessarily true. Because here's the thing.
Do you think it's going to be after this year?
It could be. Okay. It could be after this year. And it would make sense because if he'd have done it in the offseason last year, it would basically eliminate him from wrestling this year. This is Iowa's window, and he wants to be a part of that, right? And he can very obviously win pretty limited at NCAAs. Yeah. So get through this year. It's probably one of two things. See how you're feeling. Maybe he's a freak, so maybe he's just going to be a ACL coper, as our medical expert called it, for both knees, and he'll be able to compete really well with it. Or you get to the finish line in March, and you say, okay, now I get my surgery, I get a year to recover, and then I can try to make a run at the next world team, which is the biggest one because you want to be on the 2023 world team for all the benefits that go into 2024. So the timing makes sense, and, they've kind of put off the procedures in the past. I think with
I just thought at this point the ACL was say on the very, very short end, say a 4-month surgery, on the very long end, maybe 7 to 8 months. And so if you were to do it right away in March when the season finished, you're looking at
remember, it's a re-repair. It's already it's the one they already tore. So if you get it fixed again, it's a longer. It's
really?
Not. Yes.
The second time's longer?
Yes. We went over this on the show, Ben. Come on.
I remember we had that doctor
we discussed this at length.
I don't. Really?
Yeah.
ACL re-repair.
So anyway, no Spencer. I mean, obviously fans want to watch him, and obviously
there's gonna be a lot of angry fans that bought season tickets.
Well, I think one thing that stinks about just. It's like in baseball, there's like 81 home games, and in NBA basketball or even other sports, but there's only 6 home duels for Iowa. So there's only 6 opportunities to see him. Now you're down to 5 to watch Spencer wrestle and Carver Hawkeye.
On Fan Appreciation Day. too.
Well, they're wrestling most of their starters.
Yes.
And I think most of the fans listen. His interview with ESPN went absolutely viral. Everyone knows he's injured, right?
Yeah.
And Tom Brands said it in an interview. He said, "What's best for the individual is best for the team," talking about basically just being the best in March. So I think most fans will understand this is what is best for whoever is not wrestling is doing it because it is best for them to be their best in March.
Also, I think one of the main reasons we're talking about this is I think Coach Brands just hates talking about injuries, period. He doesn't want to get into it at all. He sees absolutely no value in it, which I understand that. And so if you see no value in talking about it, you're probably not going to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at the same time, wrestling, I don't want to say it's getting to be mainstream, but we are getting to be kind of a bigger deal. And people want answers. People care. And it feels really weird now when they just kind of it's essentially they're avoiding the question. They're saying, I'm not really going to answer that.
You see that but college football is the same.
It was
way.
a huge deal in the NBA 3 summers ago when stars were sitting out to rest.
They didn't want to play back-to-backs. And then there was like scheduled maintenance or something. I forget how they described it.
Scheduled maintenance?
It was like a a 2002 Corolla. No, I think what were they saying? Oh, I think Saban or Dabo Sweeney, they'll grill these guys about injury information. They do not give up. James Franklin, I think all these coaches are if Bracky were here, he'd be like, no college coaches.
I don't watch any other sports.
Yeah, Bracky would know. But I think none of these college coaches ever talk about injuries. And Tom Brady was listed as questionable by the Patriots for 15 straight years. They always listed him as questionable in the injury report.
Wait, what?
Yeah. They just
How many games did he miss out of those 15 years?
Very, very few. I mean, he missed an entire season with an ACL, but he basically never missed it. It was just always, it was some weird head game thing that Belichick was always playing.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. So it's not something unique to wrestling that coaches don't want to talk about injuries.
Well, in hockey, famously too, they would just say lower body.
Lower body injury. Lower body. Could be a toe, hip. Who's to say? So yeah, I think the more interesting thing is the red shirts. If we see a Brett Lee Reyna who could be. His eligibility year could be preserved if he doesn't wrestle. And Ibarra, who's already out. I think that says, to me, it's okay, well, we know what we've got coming next year with Drake Ayala. So it's unlikely that I honestly, for Jesse, and I like Jesse a lot, I don't know when he's going to ever see the Big Ten lineup for Iowa, when he's ever going to be the Big Ten starter, barring injury, because I'd be surprised if he can beat out Drake next year. I'd be surprised if he could go up to 33 because I think he's a true 25. I'd be surprised if he could go up and beat Shriver. And then I think Drake will be at 25 until Jessaroga's ready, and then I think it'll be him. So I think it could be uphill for Jesse to get in the lineup, and I look at this like they see the writing on the wall with that, and it's well, we should use him now in these dual meets to get some utility out of Jesse and give him opportunities to wrestle. So
yeah, I mean the other part of that obviously is that with this extra year, it also means if you're going to do 5 years, which includes a red shirt, then you have to do 6. And unless kids have an idea of the graduate degree they want, why string out, right? If you don't plan on getting a graduate degree in something, why string out another year? So you might as well just wrestle. You already had your red shirt year last year.
Exactly. So it's not like he's a true freshman. It's his second year in the lineup or second year on the team.
Yes.
74. I'm curious. I'm also curious just not seeing Nelson Brand's name on there at all. I don't know what his availability or his status is. I said I thought we would see him. I thought we'd see him, right? Yeah. But it's Assad that's getting the nod.
So did anyone ask them about that, Nelson, or no?
I did not hear him asked about. I did not hear Nelson asked about. So probably the big match now is likely Caleb Young versus Quincy Monday. It should be a pretty competitive match. Those two have some history there. So, but definitely takes. I mean, Glory Lee is far and away the biggest match. Of the week, right? Maybe of the month of November potentially. And
yeah, because we haven't seen Glory in folk style in 2 years now.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And there's heat there, right? There's heat there from Glory.
Yes, agreed.
I'm interested to see 97. Glazer was listed as a possibility, and Stout for Princeton. He's a pretty solid freshman. So I think Warner would obviously be a huge favorite, but Glazer versus Stout could be interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, is it Nebraska and North Carolina? Is that tonight?
Tonight?
No,
I think so.
Is it?
Are you sure?
You know what? There's one
I
way to
will.
know for
I will
sure.
Google it real quick for you. I want to say it's tonight. I thought I remember seeing it somewhere.
Oh, snap!
It is
Wednesday
tonight.
Night Wrestling?
Whoa!
Well, yeah, watch that. What's the biggest match in that duel?
Probably 41. You're gonna have a good match.
Yeah.
57. Peyton Rao, Boston O'Connor.
Yeah. Austin's gonna work him, right?
Yeah, kind of feels.
Let's see.
Who's going 49 for Nebraska?
Love it.
Keyshawn Clark and Chad Red's fun. Ridge Lovett and Zach Sherman's gonna be fun. 74 might be Mikey Labs versus Gavin Kane could be fun. You have some good matches in here.
Yeah. So that's a solid duel. Definitely fun. Some fun Wednesday Night Wrestling.
It doesn't even start till 8
The
p.m.
very old Liam Cronin
Central
versus
Standard
very
Time.
young Spencer Moore.
Oh yeah. Man, this is like we should look at their high school graduation. Spencer Moore.
Well, their
is he
actual
18?
age would be more far apart because Spencer Moore graduated as. So I mean, literally, Spencer Moore graduated as UWWK eligible, which means he is impossible that he turns 18 until 2022 at some point.
Yes.
So he's 17, and I mean, ridiculous.
What a beast.
For real.
Everyone else is trying to be as old as possible in college.
Cronin's probably like 23 or 4.
He's trying to be as young as possible.
He's trying to be as young as possible.
Forever young.
Okay.
Yeah. He's so young. Graduating at 17 is super young, and he's not even really close to 18.
Yeah. Okay. That's age talk. Should be exciting.
Age talk.
Should be an exciting duel. We'll be checking it out for sure. Where to next? Do we want to talk about some emails or voicemails, or did anyone send a letter?
we did that voicemail thing and the video submission. There hasn't really been all that many. We had a couple and I enjoyed them, but we haven't had a ton of them.
Well, we've been getting a lot of them. We have not been properly implementing them.
Oh,
I would
really?
say. Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. Keep sending them in. The more the merrier. Actually, I want to hear from Iowa fans. Send in your thoughts on
Oh boy.
their lineups.
Oh,
We might not play them. They might just be for my own pleasure or amazement. But I want to, because I think there's going to be a good variety of fans that are mad that they don't get to see the starting lineup, and fans that are understanding.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be. I think it'd probably be 90-10. 90% probably are fine with it. I think there's 10% that are probably like extremely disappointed and vocally so. But
Well, what would that percentage be if it was someone who was on, say, Oklahoma State's team?
What do you mean?
If it was flipped about Spencer not competing.
Oh yeah, we'd be hearing all about it. They'd
From Iowa fans, they would not like it.
They're chickens then in that
Yes.
instance. Ben, big news for you.
Oh, what?
Not really. Staples Center, where the Lakers
I saw
play.
this,
They're a basketball team.
Who are they again?
Yeah, we'll get into it later. Crypto.com Arena.
Absolutely.
Tyler, our producer, says no one is actually going to call it that, but
Why not? Yes, they will. They won't for like 2 years, and then they'll just start because that happens. Every stadium is you want to call it what it's been called forever, and then eventually everyone kind of forgets the previous name, and you just call it whatever it's actually called.
Can you imagine if they changed like Wrigley Field to like I don't know,
Crypto.com?
Crypto.com? Yeah.
It's hard to call anything with a .com in it though. If it was called like the crypto arena or something like that.
Yeah.
That's a little easier. Flows off the tongue a little
even
nicer.
the Bitcoin arena.
Yeah, Bitcoin arena.
There we go.
But
Well,
crypto.com
Bitcoin is not a
arena.
company or anything, so they can't pay for it. It has to be. Yeah, I mean, so when we were in college, the Mizzou Arena was being built for the basketball team, right? So there's the Hearn Center. Mizzou Arena was being built next door. So this is 15 years ago or whatever. And the Walton family wanted to donate a very large amount of money to see it get built. So they also requested it be named after their daughter, Paige. And so it was literally going to be called Paige Arena. And then she got caught cheating. And so they said, no, we can't name it after her because of her academic dishonesty. And I thought the whole time, like, wait. Were we naming it after her because of her academic excellence, or were we naming it after her because her parents donated a whole bunch of money? Because I'm pretty sure it's because her parents donated a whole bunch of money, not because of her academic excellence. But yeah, I mean, so to your point, we called it Page because it had been named the Page while it was being built for like a year. So we called it the Page for a couple of years until, everyone forgot about it.
Dang. Paige, shame on you. You
Seriously,
really blew
right?
it. Think all the opportunity in your life and you had to cheat. You could have had an arena named after you.
Well, I'm saying, like, if your parents got that many millions of dollars and then you go to college and you're paying someone to do your work because that's what was happening, why would you go to college in the first place? Just say, I'm so rich, I'm going to go do whatever the hell I want.
I don't know.
Because then you get to tell people you have a degree.
I mean, it's a fun experience, right? You wanted to stay in college forever, Ben.
Yeah, but I did my work. I was also there to do something.
Nerd.
Like,
Yeah.
if I had $100 million,
This stuff I'm in
if I had $100 million, maybe I would go to
work.
the college place, right? Maybe I'd move to a college town and then just do whatever the hell I wanted.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fair. All right.
Yeah.
What are you gonna pull up first here, Jermichael Dean?
Well, first, I want to remind everyone the number is 515-509-5071. Write that down. 515-509-5071. So
Call today.
that's right. Let's go. Our friend Old School Wrestling Clips. They have a question
This guy's good.
about heavyweights versus lightweights.
Wait, hold on. Can I say
Which
one thing
weighs
before?
more?
He had a clip last night of Lou Roselli and Steven Abbas wrestling.
Yes, that was a
It
good
was
clip.
great. You saw it?
I saw it. The
Oh, so awesome.
reattack duck under. Yeah, it was nice.
I'm gonna go watch it right now.
Oh, what's going on, everybody? Old School Wrestling Clips. Heard y'all talking about me today on the podcast. Got a little cold spray. Anyway, back to the business. Heavyweights. Big debate. Are heavyweights as good? Are they as skilled as lighter weight classes? There was a debate on Twitter about it. There was a poll where over like 200 people answered, and it was split 50-50, which I thought was really interesting. Some people think that heavyweight wrestling is less skilled than lighter weight classes. I was wondering if y'all could weigh in on that topic. Take care, y'all.
Ben, I'll let you take this one.
This is so simple. Hell no. The bigger you get, the easier it gets. So there's multiple factors in here. Number one in America would be that if you're Gable size and that athletic, generally you're playing another sport. You do not wrestle. Okay, so that would be a huge factor. But number two, just because of the way the body moves and the dynamics of the weight, you can cut out solid 50-ish% of the moves from being highly functional at the upper weights. I mean, are there a few guys who try to do some of those moves? Yes. But if you watch the lighter weights, then man, it's just not nearly as many. And so I think they're not nearly as skilled, but they're wrestling guys their size, and that's who you're competing against. And that's fine. Like, I don't see, like you wrestle who you wrestle. That's why there's weight classes.
Like they literally can't.
Yeah, they really can't. Yes, absolutely. With the flexibility and just the weight mechanics sometimes of like your strength versus your body mass, it just doesn't work out the right way. And that's fine. I mean, just like in the UFC, it would be like expecting a 125-pounder to have the same knockout power as a heavyweight. If you look at the knockout rates at heavyweight, it's like 3 or 4 times what it is at 125 because of the way the force you're throwing compared to the body mass and what what it can take. Mass times acceleration. Force equals mass times acceleration. Yes.
There you go.
There it is.
Well, what do you guys say? Am I right on?
Of course.
Yeah. There's also the higher risk factor where, like, you don't want to get underneath someone heavyweight and they can put all that weight down on you. So
yeah, the sprawl works about 7 times as many times at heavyweight than it does at other weights.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like at 125, 133, you can hold on like this for years, maybe. Like, they're never going to break your grip because there's just not enough force being put on your shoulders. Heavyweight, you're not going to hold on to the legs.
That's a lot of mass.
Yeah.
What?
That's a lot of mass acceleration.
That's a lot of mass, yes.
Yeah. I think it's pretty obvious. There's just unquestionably more technique that is utilized for the lighter weights than upper weights.
And then obviously
doesn't mean I like it less or more. I love heavyweight wrestling. Gable's one of my favorite wrestlers ever.
Highly skilled heavyweight wrestling. There's some of it that's really bad, Christian. There's some of it that's really good.
Listen, when you've seen what I've seen at Buffalo Gap, come on. Everything's is a treat.
You love dogging the gap.
Well, I just I had a different high school wrestling experience. I didn't grow up wrestling in Wisconsin or Iowa. It's a little different in Virginia, and you appreciate the higher levels of wrestling. But yeah, the gap is one of the highest levels. It's just it'll all come around.
It's different, like heavyweights and lightweights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Same, but different.
Yes. Okay. That's a good question from Old School.
This one isn't really a question. We asked, somebody asked it a couple weeks ago about what match you would show to a kid to get them invested.
I remember that.
This guy just called in with his answer, and I just thought it was funny because it's going to make CP mad. He didn't listen.
Oh, I already know this answer.
Hey, guys, if I were to get a kid interested in wrestling, I would show him the Bannock Schultz NCAA final. High scoring, highly skilled, and the crowd was going wild. I was there, believe me. That got me hooked.
Guess what?
A match you famously called a JV match.
Hold on.
JV match. Those guys, hey, listen, those guys are both on your top 100, Christian. If they're not, you're a moron.
Listen. I have several things. I've prepared a statement.
I've prepared a statement.
One. No one has ever produced footage of me saying that they were JV. No one has ever produced that.
Tyler, pull it up.
Produce it. But I just say, where's the evidence? I'm currently saying I never said that. Okay? You produce it, and then we can talk about it. 1. 2, I completely agree with him. It is a very exciting match. It shows a lot of dynamic stuff. I'm not saying we should show the highest skilled match ever. I'm saying what's something entertaining that'll show how cool wrestling is, that'll show a cool crowd. I think it's a great idea. I agree with this guy. I think he's right. Be a great one to show. Now, would it be better if it was a little more modern so people didn't think matches like this happen only once every 40 years? Maybe that would be helpful, but I think it's a great choice when you consider all the criteria that I thought would make it good. So, yeah, I agree with this guy.
Okay.
Produce the tapes. Produce the tapes.
We got another one?
We'll get tapes. Chris from Virginia, he asked about Gordon Ryan,
This is me. Oh, okay.
Grappling. This is you. Okay.
This is me. I want to hear what I asked, though.
Hey, guys. This is Chris from Virginia. Kind of an offbeat question. I've been watching a lot of grappling lately. Thanks to you guys. I've been watching a lot of Gordon Ryan. And I'm just, as a lifelong wrestler, someone who's new to grappling and jiu-jitsu, I'm just kind of confused. What am I looking at here when it comes to Gordon Ryan? Is he the greatest grappler, jiu-jitsu player, I guess, which is, to me, is an incorrect way of saying it, but is he the best of all time? It looks like he is like a giant cat playing with tiny little mice when he's out there. I mean, he is just completely dominating some of the best guys in the world. Where, if this were wrestling, where would he be? Would he be a Sadulayev? Would he be a Karelin? Would he be better? Or would he be someone like maybe like a Burroughs or a Snyder, who's one of the greatest of all time, but more so in an era rather than, across sport? And then, if so, why is he not competing in the UFC, or why does he not have interest in competing in the UFC? Because it really seems that he could submit anyone in the UFC at any time, basically at will. So, or is there just a big transition going from just pure jiu-jitsu to all-around fighting and combat?
Yeah.
So, anyways, hope to get your thoughts, especially Ben, seeing as that he's kind of done both. So, appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
You want to go first, Ben?
Sure. I'm not a grappling expert. So you can comment on this specific part if I'm wrong, but I do believe a lot of people consider him the best grappler of all time. And maybe it would be hard to compare through eras, but and especially no gi, right? Because he does not do a lot of gi grappling. As far as the UFC or mixed martial arts part, he did sign with one championship. I don't know that he has any interest in fighting. I interviewed him, I don't know, at one of your guys' events a couple of years back. It's a different sport, right? Burrow's allegedly wants to fight now, but there's
he went on
a lot of guys who
Hawani the other day.
Yeah, and said he wants to. I think he's trying to drum up some interest to get some large monetary offers, is what it appears. But we've had a lot of guys, right? Burroughs, Taylor, Dake, Snyder, who they just want to wrestle. They like wrestling. They're making enough money. They're happy. They don't need to make more money. They don't want to do a different thing. And MMA it's a different thing. There's been, I mean, I guess if you'd say Gordon's rival, or the guy he's got heat with, who's been a multiple-time world champion, but they've never competed against, is Andre Galvao. Galvao did not have a highly successful mixed martial arts career because he couldn't really get takedowns. And another one of the greatest is Roger Gracie. I think that's probably the other person that people would argue for. Also didn't have a great MMA career. The third one would be Marcelo Garcia, who's someone who is, I think, the best of his era. And he also did not have a great MMA career. So there is a big difference. So Galvao finished his career 5-2. I'll look at Roger Gracie. It's also not really great. But yeah, there's a huge difference. And if Gordon wanted to do mixed martial arts, I'm sure he would be, if he really wanted to do it bad, I'm sure he would be elite at it, but it would take some time. So Roger finished 8-2.
Yeah, so the question of what the comparison for, is he Snyder, is he Sadulayev? I think he's like Sadulayev in like 2016 right now, where he doesn't have the longevity to say, okay, just add it all up, but he's basically won everything. He's won ADCC Absolute. He's beaten a lot of the best. He has a couple fights he still needs to get to really, I think, ascend to the next level. He probably needs to fight Galvao. He needs to avenge the Pena loss. But yeah, he's really good. What you're seeing is that the guy is like, he's super into the process. He has incredible like static strength that he can squeeze and like hold forever. And he's got a kind of like a Ben Askren like schematic advantage, and where he just takes you on these paths that all end in you tapping. So regarding his MMA, I don't think it's as seamless a transition. I don't think he's like the crazy fast twitch like athlete, right?
Yes.
It's slower. Big guys, I don't know. You can't, and like if you watch his fights, like he sits down immediately and scoots at you. Like if you do that, you can't do that in a fight. I don't think. It's if you do that against,
I mean, if they engage with you, you could try it. If they don't engage with you, if they circle away from you, then you're forced to stand up. You could try to scoot it, and it's happened, and people have engaged. But if you were fighting Gordon Ryan and you did that, you'd be a moron.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hey, listen, this brings up a debate that I would love to have. I would love to see what your opinion is, Christian. And actually, my Lex Friedman podcast is coming out, I believe, this weekend. Something I talk with him about, because he is a big jiu-jitsu guy, loves wrestling. He wrestled in high school, does judo. But one of the things that I struggle with jiu-jitsu, okay, and I'm very curious where you guys have fallen this. But so Gordon Ryan does majority just a submission only, right? He doesn't really ever do like a 6 or 7 minute match with points. Like that's what a wrestling match is, right? 6 7 minute match with points. So one of the things I struggle with jiu-jitsu is, say I were to wrestle Jordan, and we go at EBI, right? Jordan Burroughs. Jordan Burroughs beat me by points almost every single time, okay? But he's not going to pin me. And so in the sense of EBI or a lot of those competitions, they would then go to an overtime period, at which you both got a cradle, right, or a pinning combination.
Yes.
So say Jordan Burroughs beats me 14-2, but he doesn't pin me, and we go to overtime, and I get a cradle. Listen, I think if I get a good cradle, I'm probably going to pin him. Okay, if he lets me in super tight, there's a decent chance of that happening. Now, am I better than him? Hell no, I don't think so at all. But that's what jiu-jitsu people think. They think, well, if I submitted him, then I'm better than him, right? Or in a lot of Gordon's cases, like, you just go until there's a pin. You just keep going. And if there's no pin, then it's a draw and we're equally as good. I like, it really drives me crazy because I think in wrestling terms, like, no, we have a good scoring system. And if Jordan Burroughs beats you 14-2, he's a lot better than me. And that's just what we think. What do you think about that?
I think you're right. I think actually a lot of people kind of eye roll like Craig Jones has lost to Mason Fowler, like with like I think that kind of rule set, but no one thinks that Craig Jones is not markedly better than Mason Fowler at jiu-jitsu, right? Yeah. So I think it's a little bit of an eye roll there with those. Like, no one's like, oh yeah, he beat him. It's like, okay, this is a weird thing where you start with, to your point, a cradle locked up. So yeah, I think wrestling has the benefit of just our scoring system and rules just make way more sense than jiu-jitsu. And whereas like it's not as nuanced, even though I know wrestling fans are probably like, it's super nuanced. What are you talking about? It's like, man, some of the jiu-jitsu stuff is a lot more confusing.
In wrestling, clearly being on top is a dominant position. You can still like attack from the bottom in jiu-jitsu. So it's not like being on top, obviously there's dominant positions, but you can still pin or tap somebody from bottom in jiu-jitsu from your back. So.
It's like Gordon's entire thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the argument I make with jiu-jitsu is that in wrestling, the highest point value thing is near fall, and because the thing we value the most is the pin. So if you're almost going to pin them, you get the most amount of points. Where in jiu-jitsu, submissions generally aren't scored, or maybe you get an advantage or something. And so that really throws it off I understand the difficulty in scoring a near submission, because what is a near submission?
Exactly.
I get it. But that's where if you found a way to actually structure a scoring system where there's a near submission, then I think you would end up with more interesting results. Because when I think of in Gordon Ryan terms of these longer matches with pin only, like that's and then you brought up the fact that he's kind of like a little more slow twitch, can squeeze a lot, which to me, like, I think shit, if you gave me as much time as I wanted and we did pin only, like I don't know about now, but in my prime I think I could have been world champion, right? That was for sure. And so you're essentially changing the structure of what the sport is by changing the rules. You're making it more slow twitched advantage, where a fast, explosive guy who gives me trouble, if you give me 20 minutes, I'm going to gas him out so hard.
Yeah.
20 minutes? I mean, I gas some Russians, I gas some of them out in 4 minutes, right? 2-minute periods.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
they give me 20, they're dead.
We were talking about, so we're doing this reality show at FloGrap. It's going to be I can't wait for you guys to see it. You all should watch it. It's going to be, can't give away too much, but there is a no time limit submission component to it. And had Bader and I just talking about what could you do? Could you do this in wrestling, pin only? It's like, probably not really. But
it could lead to some very long and boring matches.
It could.
So I don't think so, because I think if you would, unless so obviously that's what wrestling was originally, right?
Yeah.
If we go far enough back, and if we go Hackenschmidt versus what was it, Gotch, right? Back some of those.
Frank Gotch out at Iowa, Humboldt,
Iowa, baby. I think that match lasted 2 hours. That being said, and listen, I know Suriano fix lasted 30-ish minutes, and they probably weren't close to pinning each other because they could barely take each other down. But I feel, but obviously in that system, they're worried about the points, and so they're less willing to take risk. But I feel like in 30 to 45 minutes, which obviously I understand is a long time, but it's not multiple hours. Like, I know my advantage if I'm thinking about this. logically, my advantage is to gas them out. If I get tired, they're going to get more tired, generally speaking. So if I push the pace, like one of us is going to almost fall over by 30 to 45 minutes. Like literally, we're not going to have enough energy left. We're just going to fall over, get pinned. Probably the other person, hopefully. So yeah, so I don't think they would take as long unless both guys had this, agreement to not take very many chances.
Here's what I think another difference is. Every jiu-jitsu practice, you're practicing submissions. Are you practicing wrestling pinning combinations every practice? I think it's in the fabric
Some
of
people
wrestling.
are.
Yeah, some are. Some aren't, though. I think a lot aren't. I think a lot are just focusing on takedowns, defense.
How do you win the match?
How you win a college or a freestyle match. Like, that's where the focus is.
Yeah.
And the pinners maybe focus a little bit on it, but a lot of people just don't. So I think that's a main difference in
Christian, who are you going to give me a 30-minute pin-only match with?
Pin only. Would you do a grappling match against a not elite grappler?
I don't really know. I don't really interested anymore just because I don't spend any time doing that. I'm at the Wrestling Academy also every single day, and I do zero. I've done zero jiu-jitsu since my competitive career is over. So I would have to divert my life to do grappling, and I just don't want to do that. If you give me 30 minutes, pin only, I'd wrestle in that. That sounds like fun.
Who would be a good candidate?
I don't know.
Oh, no.
Yeah, think he would do it.
I don't know if he would do it. I don't know if he should do it. I don't know if he would want to do it. Because, to my point.
I took an ass whooping. I don't know if I'm going to get him tired, though. He doesn't.
That's what I'm saying, Ben. He's got, one of the best tanks ever.
Yeah, it's really funny for him because a lot of people, and I think people think about it incorrectly. A lot of people, they view him as super explosive, which he does have some explosive options, but he's not in my opinion, not as explosive as everyone thinks he is. And I think it's evidenced by his gas tank. His gas tank is really good. I mean, he's probably gassed more people out than just blowing people off the mat in the last 5 years.
I agree with that completely.
Yeah.
Because think about how many of his matches materialized with him losing going into the break or being very close, and then he's went the more explosive, dynamic athlete would almost always have the advantage in the earlier periods.
Yeah,
but that's not the case with him.
He's really just tougher than most of his opponents.
He is tougher,
and
he is
great. I mean,
he can do some crazy stuff.
He's got great positioning. His gas tank is great. Everyone has to, he does have good attacks. And then the other thing about his attacks is, and I think another underrated thing, right? Because some people, they think about wrestling too simply. But if you think about how strong he is once he gets to the leg, that position where his back is up and strong, whether it's a single leg or a double leg, he's so strong under there that people know if he gets there, he's going to be hard to stop from some type of score. So in that essence, they have to really respect his fakes. And so that, when you're off balance because you're respecting someone's fakes so much, that makes you tired also, right? So he has this ability to be super efficient in what he's doing also.
Yeah.
People in the chat want you to go 30-minute pin-only match with Gas Tank Gary and Wade Chalice.
Those are interesting opponents.
Wade Chalice, there we go.
I want to see, you know what? I want to see.
Blake says he's old, but you had a hip replace, so.
Yeah.
Wade's really old.
Yeah, yes.
I wish there was more film of Wade Chalice and Gene Mills. Obviously two of the greatest pinners ever. That would be
surely you've seen Gene Mills' NCAA finals match, which was like a football score.
The one it's against
Gonzalez?
Syracuse. No, he's Syracuse. Yeah, Gonzalez from Cal State Bakersfield. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of switches and it's tons of reversals.
Wild. It's freaking wild.
It's a wild match.
Yes.
That'd be a good one to show people too.
Yeah. So anyways, I guess just when we think about Gordon Ryan, it is obviously being great at jiu-jitsu, specifically the longer time frame matches. To your point, is a little bit of a different skill set than it would take to be good at mixed martial arts, or even a short, really short. Can you imagine Musa Kayev in a 30-minute pin only? I mean, he'd be dead by minute 8. Maybe. We would not be talking about Musa Kayev as one of the best guys. He is one of the best guys in the world under the current rule set. But if you did 30 minutes pin only, not so much for him.
Bye-bye, little Sebastian.
I don't know.
Yes.
I'm anti 30-minute pin match.
Well, I'm just saying,
unlimited pin or
that's
pin
what
only match.
jiu-jitsu is.
That's a bad idea in my opinion.
But do you understand what I'm saying, JD? Is that's what jiu-jitsu grappling currently is. That's kind of the way they determine who the best in the world is.
Yes.
A little bit. Okay.
Okay.
Which also, speaking of Musakayev, he's going to be wrestling on the next Russian Wolnik card against Shakayev, which is very nice.
Who is the 65 rep for
what-
Russia, right?
Yes.
What did you call it? The Russian what?
It's called Wolnik is the name of the league.
Wolnik?
It's this new league. They're starting a bunch of matches. Kyle Snyder and Jason Nolf are going to wrestle on it. Snyder's going to wrestle Zabrailov. He won bronze in 20 I forget what year, but he's pretty solid. That'll be a fun one. Jason Nolf's wrestling Sabalov, which will be interesting, obviously. Sidakov is wrestling Kadimagomedov and Zamalov. That is very nice.
Whoa.
Yes. And Sajlayev is wrestling Nerov, who won bronze in 2019.
Okay.
Nice.
There's some other ones too, but those are the.
Is it
big
just
ones,
like
obviously.
a card? It's not a tournament, right? It's just a card since these
It's just a
matches are-
card. It's like a all-star duel matchup.
Got it.
Is this something that's going to happen on a regular basis, or is this?
This isn't the first one. I don't know if they're. So it seems like they're trying to make it a regular thing.
Got it.
But yeah, I don't know. I saw tickets went on sale yesterday, so you can go if you want.
Okay.
I will. I have first plane ticket. I'll book.
And I was talking to some people while I was at U23s too, and they were saying the way they make the bulk of this money is through sports gambling, which I thought was interesting.
Okay.
Wait, who?
The organization that's
Yes, because
Putting on the event.
they allow
Wolnik?
people to
Wolnik?
bet on it, but like bets go through them or whatever.
All right, we got an email question for Ben. Randy Goldsworthy wants to know what Ben said to Chris Pendleton after his sophomore NCAA finals match.
I don't remember. It was. I mean, it was something positive. I obviously I appreciated the rivalry because it made me significantly better. I didn't appreciate that he gave me 87% of my college losses, but the preparation to try to beat him obviously made me significantly better as a wrestler. So I appreciate that part of it. I don't remember exactly what it was at the time, though.
Got it.
Yeah.
Did you talk to Coach John Smith after that at all? How
I don't
did
think
you
I
talk
mean, I
with
was-
him about that rivalry?
Almost none. I talked to my other wrestling stuff much after the fact, but not really about the rivalry at all.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I would now that if I could have went back, I would not that young, but like maybe right after college. I would, and I think I considered it maybe, but the rivalry was a little too strong. But I really would have loved to spend some time in the wrestling room with John Smith because obviously he is one of the best wrestling brains America's ever had. So I really would have enjoyed picking his brain, and I never got the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. That would have been fun conversations to
That would
hear.
have been fun.
Yeah. Especially for you. Anything else before we get to some other questions? The traditionals?
No, let's go traditionals.
Okay. Traditionals only. I don't know what I mean. Someone wants to know if we want to finish the best of the decade to never win a title segment. I think we
Wait.
should finish that.
Oh yeah,
We
I
did
forgot
that?
We did we did 3 weights or
We
something.
did
or
3
4
weights and we stopped. It's one of many abandoned segments.
It happens.
It happens sometimes, you know?
Yeah, that one was hard too because then NCAA season started and I was traveling and
Yeah.
excuses are for
Yeah.
wusses.
There you go. Yeah, no
I know,
excuses.
I'm making excuses.
Next question. What's the best wrestling shoe out right now?
Will always be Rulons.
Hey, the aggressors are just
Definitely one of the rudest models.
yeah, the rudest aggressors. I don't know.
I mean, in all fairness, Rudis is putting out more new cool shoes than any wrestling company has ever done in the history of
Brutus
wrestling.
is on a hot streak.
yeah, they got
They're
the
hot.
blades.
Mm-hmm. Burrows.
Jordan Burroughs. Well, we talked about that one.
know.
I was just a more
Yep.
new
Yes.
thing. But
They wrote us up in the game.
I've never the aggressors are my favorite shoe ever. I can't say I've ever worn. I haven't worn many other. I've tried some other companies. I won't say who they are because it'll make it sound like I'm bad mouthing them. But for me, the aggressor is the best shoe.
Which is basically the same as the Rulon.
It is the Rulon, but they don't call it that anymore. But yeah, they're great. Did you ever wear those, Ben?
You know
Are you
what?
even
I'm
allowed
not
to
good with
acknowledge?
shoes. If you sent me a picture, I would tell you what if I wore them, because I don't even, when you say Rulons, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I don't really know names of shoes. So if you showed me, I know there was a couple pair of Asics while I was in college, because that was who Mizzou was sponsored by, that I really liked, that
The
they did
Matflex.
not continue.
That's the
they
good
didn't
shoe.
continue to make. It
The
wasn't
Kale?
the Kale. I know we had the Kales. I didn't really like those all that much. If you guys had showed me pictures right now, okay, let's see. I see some pictures on the screen.
Well, the
No,
bottom
none of
left.
those. I
the bottom
never had
left are
those.
The
I never had
Rulons.
Never
this
had
is the
those.
classic.
I had the red and black ones.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
You really do hate.
I don't believe I ever had
You
those.
can't just go with the.
My school colors were red. What do you mean?
No, you just.
So it was one of the ones that they had like the double Velcro and the zipper, and it was really good. But yeah, I don't. They didn't make them for very long, so other people must not have liked them.
I don't
But
know
I
about
did.
zippers on shoes.
I had the Kales when I was young too, and I liked
Yeah,
those.
I had
a couple versions.
I had the two. They were actually really good.
I had the 1 and 3. I don't think I had the 2.
I think I wore those for so long that just eventually they just completely blew out. I still have them for some reason. I think Henry Cejudo signed them or something. I forget why I haven't thrown them out.
Boom. Triple C.
Triple C. This was before he was Triple C.
It was single C.
He was just a mere Olympic champion.
That's it.
Yes. Okay. So that was shoe talk. Talking.
What about
shoes.
Iowa? His question.
There doesn't seem to be much juice with the Iowa State program besides Carr. Dresser inherited a mess and turned it around quickly. With the goal at Iowa State has to be to compete for trophies every year. What read do you have on the program? Any program that doesn't have a lot of juice, it normally stems from recruiting struggles. And there have been a lot of seasons where they've recruited really well, and then there have been some where they've missed on some guys. And when they've got big recruits, they've done reasonably well. Losing Gomez hurt, but he was a KJ recruit originally. Carr is still.
That's also an interest or like a different one because he retired and then decided to come back. Like it wasn't just a okay, I'm transferring now type deal.
Yeah,
that was a weird one.
Yeah, that's true. It's not a typical.
Just not a traditional
I mean,
transfer.
the other thing I guess I would bring up with this is I feel like this is I don't want to say a general trend, but it's something that happens. So like you think about NC State, Gwiz came in and obviously had a hell of success, but the rest of their team was, I don't want to say average, but they kind of brought them all up to being like kind of good, and then it took a while to get to that next step, right? And that's kind of what we've seen with Iowa State. I think it was after 2 years they had all 10 NCAA qualifiers, I think, up from like 4 or something to that effect. And now the next step obviously would be to take that, right, take them to the next level where they're not just all qualifying, but where a lot of them are competing to All-American. And that generally takes a couple more years. And I think this recruiting class they have is good. I can't remember if the last one was really good, but the one they're having this year is really solid, correct?
It's solid, and they're in on some other guys as well.
They're already starting the 2023 class. They got Noctober in. Was that last week?
Yeah.
So, and Iowa High School was down a handful of years ago, and now with Siebold and Big Game and other clubs, it's starting to produce a little more high-level recruits. So maybe Iowa State will reap the benefits of that as well as Iowa, because Iowa obviously is.
So it's interesting because I think you maybe take for granted, okay, he started at Virginia Tech and he and Roby built it up and then they got this thing going. But that took time. It took a lot of time. And certainly Iowa State was starting at a better point than he started with at Virginia Tech when the program was almost completely eliminated. But I still think it does take some time, and he was able to get a big gun with David Carr. But I think there's just it's not an overnight thing. Dresser's a great coach, but maybe part of it is like, the Iowa State is probably is a blue blood. It's on the short list for blue blood wrestling programs, the NCAA. But now does that matter as much as it used to? Is a question I have. Now he's got the financial support of the administration that's a huge advantage. But like, here's my question and what I'm getting at. Does an elite high school recruit look at Virginia Tech and Iowa State all that differently as a wrestling school? Do they look at NC State or Iowa State all that differently? Do they even look at Princeton or Iowa State all that differently? I'm not sure.
Are you just saying? You're saying you're just taking out the historical context of the success that Iowa State's had?
Yeah. I'm just saying, do they view them as a place like I will be able to get much better at Iowa State than I can at this ACC school or at this place?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think so obviously NC State and Virginia Tech are hot and they're having tons of success recruiting. And they have things going for them. But I think you saw this with Missouri too. And now Missouri, I would say, is now more established because they've finished in the top 10 how many times in the last whatever. But when they were coming up, people didn't view them as, oh, this is a really good program where I'm almost guaranteed to have success because of the historical success. Mm-hmm. Now, Iowa State, there's a big gap now between the last time they got a trophy was how long ago?
9?
I mean, it's been
9 or maybe KJ got one late. Maybe KJ got one.
No way.
Or late in I guess it'd be early in his career, but like late to 2009, 2010.
Well, so obviously when Kale left, in what he did 2008, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they had a couple trophies and they had a really good team. So maybe it was one more year. But so now it's been 12 years. We'll say 12.
9.
2009. So we'll say 12 years since they've had a trophy. So now it's like you're getting to that point. And so like, another program I feel similarly about is Oklahoma. For a while it was just like, hey, if you go to Oklahoma, you're going to be really good. But now it's been so long since they've been good. I think a lot of people are not thinking of them that way. So, if you're one of those historically good programs, you do have to kind of maintain that success. Otherwise, that feeling
that's what I'm saying.
Away.
Like, do people look? I mean, Ben, if you're talking to a student athlete, are you weighing the tradition of Iowa State and Oklahoma any differently than like a UNI, whereas they're not a traditional power, but they're proven that they can really compete, or a Wyoming, or there's a lot of sort of programs that are they have a lot of success, maybe beyond what you would normally expect they would have wrestling success.
Yeah,
I guess that's my point. Is these kids it's all about what are you doing right now, right? And I think
correct. Well,
tradition. I don't think tradition recruits like it used to. Maybe that's the word.
Sure.
I've been.
So like Oklahoma State and Iowa. Obviously, both of those programs have had a few years where they didn't measure up to historical standards of what that program was, right? And because it wasn't that many years, I don't think it really hurt them, right? It was only a couple of years. And so they were still able to continue. But had those years been further apart, another one I think of that's probably will fit in the similar category as Oklahoma and obviously is now Minnesota. If Minnesota now, it's been a while since they've been challenging. I think people still think of them as very high up. But if we go, 3 or 4 more years without a trophy, they're going to probably feel the same way about Minnesota.
Yeah, very possibly. Good discussion.
I think I think the historical success has some counts for something because I think the other way to think about this, Christian, is that kids generally become fans of wrestling. I would say in middle school is kind of when they really start paying attention and following. So if you're a 6th through 8th grader, you're not graduating from high school for somewhere between 5 and 7 years. And so, if we're in 2021 right now and I'm watching a team win NCAAs and I'm a 6th through 8th grader, I'm not going to be recruited till 2028. So if I become a huge fan of whatever program and then I get the chance to be recruited by them and it's the same coach that I've been a fan of, I mean, that's going to count for something.
Yes, completely agree. Let's do one more question.
Okay,
this one is about... it's from Kevin Mulder. I just bought tickets to the Michigan versus Penn State duel in January. At this point in time, who wins between Paris and Kerkvliet?
That's a great question because Paris killed him last year.
Yes, big time. So you have to ask, is he that much better? But he beat him in freestyle.
He did, but he worked it last year. So listen, I'm saying Kerkvliet looked great in his first duel, which it would make me question had I just watched the match last year in folk style, obviously. Mm-hmm. I'd say Paris, no problem, especially because Paris has had this upside where he's going like this, up and to the right. But now, I don't know. It's gonna be a tough one.
Do you think Paris is?
Who are you picking?
The first
Paris.
Yeah, the first 2 years of Mason's career, we talked a lot about his trajectory. Do you think he's plateaued a little bit?
I mean, it's going to be impossible for him to maintain that, but it's impossible for him to maintain that same trajectory.
Right.
The trajectory he showed from his true freshman year to the next year is preposterous.
Was absurd. Yeah.
So,
exactly. But I mean, this is a guy who wasn't even sure if he was going to wrestle in college until his senior year of high school or whatever. He thought maybe he was going to play football. So
we'll learn a lot this year because we're going to get to see him against. We'll see how if Cassiope and Kerkvliet narrow the gap or even pass him. I don't expect that to happen. We'll see if he gets any closer to Gable. I wouldn't expect that to happen either. And then we'll get to see the measuring stick of Gwiz again because we have to figure he's going to continue to try to make world teams. He split with Gwiz last year, and then he was really dominated in the world team trials. So we'll see what's next for Mason if he's going to continue to improve. He's still pretty young. But I think Paris is the favorite there. He also asked about Micic versus Lee. I'm actually really interested in that.
That's a fun match.
I honestly kind of think Micic can win this. Maybe that's a Quake take. I don't know if he matches up great against every 41, but I see him able to – he's going to wrestle really well in the tie. He's a really good hand fighter. He's going to be able to get to elbows, get to legs. Finish. Now, there's a possibility he's just not big enough for this weight, but I don't think he'd go there if he didn't think he could really compete there either.
Yeah. Sorry. Hey, I accidentally logged off to VMix. I was searching Mason Paris's, and I did in the wrong window. WrestleStat. So can I comment on the Mason Paris thing real quick one more time before we go to the next match?
I'll allow it.
Thanks, Judge. Yeah, I mean, so obviously we talked about his progression, but when you look at his WrestleStat, 33-9 as a true freshman, which was good. But then, right, the next 2 years, he's a combined 40-3, all 3 losses coming to the Olympic champion Gable. But so between years 1 and years 2, he has that. I know it's not as competitive as a score, but 8-6 match with Gable, right? It was kind of and then the next year but he loses 12-4 and 8-4 the following year, right? And this is so I feel like Gable almost kind of was flat and then boom went like this, or not as much, and then Gable kind of hit I think there was something in his head that Gable said, I got a freaking another level I can give.
Yeah.
And for Gable it went like this.
He flipped the switch.
He definitely flipped the switch. So Mason Paris now between 2019 and 2020 was a huge up. And then I want to say it kind of leveled off a little bit the next year. He was still getting better, but maybe not at the same rate. So now it'll be interesting to see, is there more he can give? And maybe Kerkvliet, I suck at his name. His name's freaking the worst name ever to say. Anyways,
think of
he's had kind of a steady rise, but remember how good we thought he was going to be right away. And now it's been a while since he graduated high school. And so it'll be interesting to see if he's hitting this up now, right? Is he hitting this where he's had something in his mind and said, I'm going to take this a little more seriously. I want to be really good at this, because I think we thought out of high school that he could just be a freaking animal. And now it's taken, what year did you graduate? 2019, 2018?
I think he's class of 2019.
2019. So now, so this will be his third year out of high school. So it'd be interesting to see how it goes.
Truly. Micic versus Lee.
Yeah.
Do you give Micic a shot there?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Me too.
But I still am. I'm assuming that if he's going 41, he's big enough for 41.
Yeah.
Which then makes me think, holy crap, he must have been cutting a lot of weight for 125 essentially in the Olympics, or at 57.
Yeah.
And that makes me think, then, is he then going to go, maybe he goes 61 for a couple of years and then bumps up to 65 eventually?
I hope so. I hope he goes 61 at least.
61 for sure.
He'll be so much better there.
Yeah, so much better.
Also a question about Brucky versus Max Dean.
That's fun.
That is fun.
This is a great duel.
It's a really, really great duel. We should go hang out.
Where is it, Michigan or Penn State?
I'm looking it up right now.
I feel like it's Michigan, but I don't know. Man, if Penn State has Michigan and Iowa on the road, that's a pretty rough schedule.
It is home.
Home. Wow. So
Ooh.
Penn
For
State's
Michigan.
got their two toughest duels on the road.
January 21st, a Friday.
And so they go back to back weeks. They go
Dang.
21st Michigan, 28th Iowa.
Wow.
That's going to be a fun 7-day stretch.
Oh, baby. And then Ohio State. Well, Ohio State's not that great this year, I guess.
Yeah, that won't be as competitive.
Tickets are only $6.
$6. Wrestling tickets are dirt cheap.
Well, that's freaking Iowa. Hold on. Iowa needs to raise their prices, because I looked. Iowa season tickets, I think, are like $85. I want to say $80, $85 or something.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the exact same point in time, if you went and searched for Iowa versus Penn State tickets, the cheapest one was like $140. So you could have totally arbitraged the situation and went and bought 100 season tickets. No, I didn't do this. This would have been too much work. Went and bought 100 season tickets and then turned around and sold those 100 tickets.
Well, I don't think you're allowed to buy 100, but yeah.
At least make a bunch of fake names. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. Man, you've thought a lot about this.
Well, I didn't think about enough to actually go do it. But yeah, I mean, it seemed ridiculous that you could buy a whole set of season tickets for that much, and then you could go sell the one of the 6 or 7 tickets.
Ben, did you see they released NCAA tickets and they only did single session?
What is that about?
Wait, what?
You couldn't buy tickets in bulk. Like, you couldn't just say, I want
why not?
pay X amount.
You can't just pay $200 for all session.
How do you know you're gonna get the same? How do you know you get the same seat every session?
I don't know. I didn't try and buy them. I just saw people complaining.
As well.
That's really strange, because generally when you buy NCAA tickets, it comes and you get a pack and it has all 6 and you have the sessions.
Right. And I don't know if they plan to, at a future date, do that, but as of right now, you can only buy single session tickets.
I've got as a Iowa season
really
ticket
weird.
holder. If anyone wants a Princeton ticket, I will just give it to them. Just let me know. Hit me up.
You need to at least do a giveaway contest on Twitter or something.
No, I don't care. Just first person. Early bird gets the worm. That's what I believe. That's the contest.
How are they gonna hit you up? You're saying text.
I'll give you my cell phone. You're on air.
So you're giving your cell phone number out online?
Yeah. No. Some scumbags in wrestling like to distribute that, but that's okay. I won't do it. So let's call it a show. It's taco time. Ready for
Taco time. I'm gonna go make a taco for myself.
Okay. Ooh. Ben, thank you. JD, thank you. JD, good show. Good show. Hey, you know what? It's 200 for a solid show. There's more where that came from. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back Thursday. That's tomorrow. Less than 24 hours from now. We'll talk about the weekend. We'll talk about UNC versus Nebraska. Hope you guys watch that. See you guys later.